Hello, my name is Shreyash, and today we'll be looking at our custom Q&A chatbot part 2. So the difference in this part is we are focusing on open source tools and models, and in the last part we were using OpenAI API keys. But the problem was while using the OpenAI API key, we have to pay by the number of tokens that we use for them. So the main focus for this part is to use the open source tools. So we went through different models which could be useful for creating this chatbot, and we found that the Llama 2, which has 7 billion parameters, would be the best for us. And we experimented with different models, but we found this gives the best results. So to show you the demo, I would uh, run the code by using streamlit run app.py, and then it will lead us to our UI, which was same as what we did in the last part. And here I will be using a shorter version of the original ADS document because this takes a lot of time for processing and also for answering the questions that you type. So once I load my file, I would click on process, and then it's processing now. Once it is done, we will be able to chat with our chatbot. The process takes a little bit time than what we did with OpenAI API. Since we are loading this model in our local machine on Ubuntu, it takes time to run the code and also process the PDF. So after this is done, let me ask a simple question. What is this document about? So I've pressed enter. It takes a little bit of time. Till then, I would explain what are the challenges that we faced while creating this, because it was not as easy as what we did in while using OpenAI API. So here we first tried to use model on our local Windows machine, which was able to process and chat very quickly as compared to what we are seeing here on Ubuntu. So after transitioning from Windows to Ubuntu, we tried different models, but the main problem that we faced was storage. We created new instance for that. And later we realized after doing some research that Intel architecture has some trouble while loading this model, Llama CPP library. So we tried some methods like turning off the virtualization from Windows, but then it was quite difficult on Intel architecture. But then once we started with AMD, we tried on AMD architecture, the same code, the same model, it was able to run perfectly. So there were some problems, but then this works pretty well. Uh, so I put the query, we are still waiting for the answer. The document that I would show is this. It's 5-page PDF. The original version is truncated just to have a little bit faster processing for loading the document. So we will wait till the question is answered by our Q&A chatbot. And during the last submission that we did, we tried Llama to Q4, if you would see the PDF that we submitted. It uses Llama to same 7 billion parameters, but Q4. But then we realized that it was 4 GB model that we downloaded. The one which we are running is Q8. which is 7 GB model, so it is supposed to run better. But the solutions we get, yeah, you can see here we got the solution for the question that these documents about appears to be a tutorial or a guide. So this works really well, and we will now move to how we did the code for loading this model on Ubuntu.
The input to our chatbot is PDFs. So the Python library that we are using to deal with the PDFs is PyPDF2. Now we can give many PDF files as input. We will first loop to each of the PDF, and we will use PDF reader to read the file, each PDF, and we will extract the text from each PDF and store the text in a large string. So the first function shows that where PDF docs is a list of PDFs, and we will loop around each of the PDF, and PDF reader is used to read the PDF, and you can see we're returning the text that is a large string which contains each text from each page of the PDF. Now the next function here, what we're doing is that once we get the large text, we have to split it into multiple chunks. So we are using character text splitter from LangChain to do that. And we have to set parameters before that. That is the size of the chunk, which is 500, and the chunk overlap, which is 100. So here text is the large string, character text splitter is used. We will split it into multiple chunks and return the chunks. Once the text chunks are returned, we have to convert them into embeddings. So the next function does that and then store it into a database. So for that, we are using Hugging Face embeddings to convert the chunks into embeddings. Now, what are embeddings? Embeddings are compact representations of text that capture the semantic meaning of it. Now, after you can see the command vector store command where we are converting into embeddings and storing into a vector space. For this, we are using Facebook AI similarity search vector store.
So once after the embeddings are stored in the vector store, we have to move to the conversational chain, like how the large language model works or the conversation works. So here we are using an open source Llama CPP model, like which is of 7 billion parameters, and we are using Q8 version of it. And once we are loading the Llama CPP model, and we are trying to answer the questions, and here we are also using the similarity search type of similarity. So after the embeddings are done, so the language model will understand the context of the language and also the content. So once the question is typed based on the similarity, like the vector similarity of the question and the answer similarity is matched, so on the similarity basis the answers are given. And after this conversational chain function, we are moving to handle user input, which is nothing but like a Q&A question bar that we have like just before we have seen in the demo. And now we are integrating all these functions into the main function. And like for this part, we are using Streamlit, a nice well-formed web page. So like just imitating the chat GPT. So we are using Streamlit and HTML.py files to get the UI. And like here we can see that it has the question bar and also the process button, like for where we can upload the PDF file. So all this is handled by the Streamlit, and Streamlit just runs in between our Pi and the local server. So after integrating all the functions, we can see the demo, which is already seen in the starting part of the PDF. So this is how we implemented the large language models with open source without using the OpenAI API keys. So Llama 27B billion parameter model appears to be working good. So thank you.